What's up, everybody? Anthony here, Empire Music, empiremusic.com. Phone number at the shop, 412-343-5299. If you need anything at all, specifically as it relates to me, about basses, feel free to reach out. My email is also just anthony@empiremusic.com. So today, really excited to show this off. So this is the Classic Vibe. Well, it's a Squier Classic Vibe Telecaster bass. And these are always fun to demo because we show off so many boutique and amazing high-end instruments here. Fender Custom Shop, our Empire 58, Castadosa basses, Ball Family Reserve, Music Man stuff. I'm lucky that I get a chance to play some very, very exquisite high-end instruments. But it's always cool to see what manufacturers can get you under $500. At the time of filming this bass is a street price of $479. It's pretty incredible what you get out of it. And this is a model that was around late 60s, early 70s. I think it's kind of a dark horse vintage P-bass thing. And obviously the silhouette harkens back to like the early 50s to up to mid 50s. And I always love this silhouette. It reminds me of a picture of George Porter that I remember having in the Meters Anthology CD, and I was probably 15 years old, just started playing bass. And I always thought like he just looked so, I mean, George Porter just always looked, the Meters always just looked cool in photos regardless. But George like hanging out and you see this like the Telly headstock on it. I've just always had a thing for it. And I always liked this pickup and this pickup position. It limits the bass as we'll hear, but it also gives it a character that is different than any other P-bass or really any other bass. So spec-wise, poplar body, Alnico humbucking pickup in here, volume, tone, dead simple, right? Maple neck, maple fretboard, C-shaped neck, an inch 1.652 nut width. So to put that in perspective, that's like your modern P-bass nut width, not 1.75 inches as the true vintage spacing, and not as narrow as a jazz bass, which would be 1.5 inches. 9.5 radius, so kind of a modern radius on it. That's all expected out of Squier. Like they're not putting in these like true vintage specs, right? Because like they're trying to keep that cost down. Again, $479 for this bass. One questionable spec that I read on the Fender site, and like it's publicly out there, is that they list this as a bone nut. Now, it very well could be a bone nut. It looks plastic to me, so we can all like kind of get together in the comment section and really figure out Fender or Squier out there. I'm looking up here like there's some entity like in the sky. Squier in the sky, hello. Did you put a bone nut on this bass at $479? If you did, that's very, very impressive and thank you. But I have a feeling it's a plastic nut, if I'm being honest with you. So I think that might be a missed spec, but I'm gonna I'm gonna say what is written there on the website. I've been wrong with that stuff before, just, regurgitating out the specs that Fender gives us as dealers and they be incorrect. And then I get lit up in the comment section, which, I mean, have at it. I get lit up in every comment section. It's fine. I can take it, right? But it's a cool bass. It sounds really, really good. Now, when Squier comes out with something like this at this price point, you think, why? Why did they do it? Why did they choose this? And I think it makes a ton of sense because this is a really cool kind of niche bass that you can add into your arsenal. The sound is so different and so kind of single use. And I don't mean that in a bad way. Like, it's the perfect bass to go out and spend $500 on, right? I don't know that this bass, if you wanted this bass on the vintage market and you go out and spend, what, $3,500 on it, maybe more, I don't really know what it is out there, or you buy like a nicer version of it, over $1,000, right? Like that might be a hard get for you if you're not sold on this being like a workhorse bass or something you're gonna play all the time. But at $500, I go back to my Squier Affinity video that I did, I don't know, a year or two ago. And like, if you don't want a 6-string bass because you're not going to play it that often, then don't go out and spend a ton of money on it. But if you want to just have one in your arsenal, it's like kind of perfect. I think this is kind of perfect, and it plays really, really good. So out of the box, just kind of divulge the information here. I literally just tuned it up. Action was a little bit high on that. I had our new tech, Christian Hoffman, who's a Pittsburgh, a great tech in Pittsburgh. Christian did a very, very brief setup on this, but it was pretty dialed in out of the box. Sonically, what's going on with it? So check this out. Oh, the rig is the same rig. We'll flash it up on the screen later on when I start playing, but I'll say it right now. Trickfish Bullhead Mini, Trickfish 112 cabinet. We take a DI out, we take an SM94 mic in the front. I do about a 70-30 split, and I really don't color it at all. I might add a little bit of gain on the mix bus just to bring everything up to a nice level. That'd really be about it. But check this out. It's almost jarring how dark this pickup is. So this is full tone, right? Right, that's full tone. Now if I roll tone all the way off, but going back to full tone, even when you dig, it's so interesting. It sounds good, but like it doesn't have top end bite. You don't buy this bass to sound modern. You want the jazz bass thing? This isn't it. You even want the standard P bass thing? This isn't it. You want this dark, refer to it as like a mudbucker pickup at the neck? This is it. It's almost more similar to a Gibson, like an SG. Obviously that's short scale, it's a little bit different. That's a different pickup too, but it reminds me almost more of that than it does anything in the Fender lineup, right? And the pickup position kind of makes sense there. The one thing that I will say is not an issue, but a hard playing style to achieve with this here, you might know what I'm gonna say, is like the slap thing, because this is no problem, the thump. No problem there, but the pluck. It's hard to get under here with the pickup so close, right? Because you just don't. I'm not a great slap player in general, so having that there any more hindrance is certainly not going to help. But I found if you just go back a little bit, not my natural slap position on there, but you can definitely get the job done with it. And then that kind of pulls the curtain back on one of the more interesting aspects of this bass, is on these heavy attacks, there is what I interpret as, this could be wrong, it's just kind of my takeaway on it, there is a massive amount of compression on those heavier attacks. It's really cool. Never getting that loud, even on like a pluck. So while positioning is weird on that, it actually is one of the cooler sounds out of it. So let's just play full volume, full tone, and we'll just kind of move our hand around, see what we get out of the bass. It's always gonna be inherently dark. So, you know, over the pickup, obviously you're getting a little bit more volume, but it just gets so tubby and fat up here over the neck. Really love it. It'd be a really nice dark kind of reggae dub. Take some more volume off of that, or more tone. Sounds cool. And then the palm mute thing's crushing with this. And then same thing with the picks, really, really cool. And then like open picking. I find it's not the most sensitive and dynamic instrument at the open picking thing. There's probably some commentary on my own picking ability. I'm more comfortable picking a lot of times with the palm thing. Than the open thing. And just kind of back to finger style. You hear that pluck in there, it sounds good. I would love to hear how this bass translates with flats on it. I think that would be cool. You're going to take even more of that, I hate to say top end, there's just not a lot with this bass, but you're going to take any bit of bite that's on there and remove some of that, especially when those flats start to break in. But man, it would sound big and just a really, I think this is going to be a very nice supportive sounding bass. I think if you want a really, really vintagey tone, you can get a lot of that with this. And at $479, like if you're thinking about adding something like this in your arsenal, or let's say you have a jazz bass or you have some really modern sounding stuff, this is an easy addition into the collection to expand the palette of it. It comes along with the Squier territory, or I should say like there's some things that come along with that. So you have a $500 bass. They sound good. They play really nice as it sits right now. The thing with these, I always say, I don't care what brand it is, if it's Epiphone, Squier, Sire, whatever it is. And I'm not bashing any of that stuff. You just need to have a keen eye on the maintenance side of things, right? So fret sprout, meaning, you know, if the wood starts to dry out a little bit, do the fret ends get sharp? As it sits right now, no, not at all. In fact, like my eyes were closed and I was blindfolded, and someone just told me this was like an American-made P-bass. I think, obviously, I'm gonna know something's weird with the sound of it, but feel-wise, like the neck, it feels good on it. Tuning machines, bridge, you know, all those components are less than what you would see on American stuff, for sure, even Mexican series stuff. But they certainly have some value to it, and I think if adding something unique and different into your collection is a goal, this can certainly do it at a very budget-friendly price. This one is in vintage white. I also have one in another cool finish. I love both these finishes. In the classic mocha finish. You see these in a lot of 70s P basses. It's kind of cool with the black guard. I think the vintage white, I like that a little more because I say this all the time with finishes like this like age, like nicotine white kind of look on it. I think it just looks really, really cool. So classic vibe, new addition to the classic vibe lineup from Squier in the Telecaster bass. This is a bass that was out late 60s, early 70s. I think they're really, really cool. I think they are almost more one-dimensional than a standard P bass, if that's at all possible, but it's a really cool dimension, and I think that is something that a lot of players don't have in their collection, and it's a really easy way to add it in. If you have any questions at all, feel free to reach out, 412-343-5299. You can email me directly to anthony@empiremusic.com. Thanks for watching. See you next time.